calling all my GBs to the front. I got something for you. And who are we calling? But first, before I get into letting you guys in on the first guest, since you've been getting to know me personally, I want to share my new logo, as you can see, and what it means and what it represents. So, as you can see, you guys, it does have my name, Alyssa Janae, with a butterfly. And I start calling my supporters, my subscribers, my followers, my GBs, which means Grande Butterflies. We're always transforming, going through the process, and sometimes I'm not as consistent, but I'm always showing up for you guys. But just to share this side story, um, I have a healthcare Conrad, and she was telling me, she and I were just having a conversation about just life, and I was telling her I feel like I need to switch my, calling my supporters my Grande Boos and Grande Bays, and I was like, nah, that kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to call it like high school, but I have elevated from just, calling my subscribers Boos and Bays, and I just want to be more um spiritual about it. So um going through my own spiritual journey, going through the process of learning myself, uh doing the shadow work of myself, creating more relatable episodes and podcasts for you guys. She says to me, she said, I want to tell you this. And one day I was sitting outside and I saw a butterfly come out of its cocoon. And she showed me the picture. She sent it to my phone. And I may have a clip for y'all, like what she had sent to my phone. And I was just like, perfect. So as you can see, that butterflies are very significant with me. I have my butterflies on my bracelets today. And of course, the microphone, it represents the Grand Talk. I have to give back to my Grand Talk podcast because we're creeping up on 4 years anniversary in November, and with the sound waves here is the frequency, the vibration I'm raising to reach the people that I need to reach. So this little tea that I had to like share with you guys. So for episode 8, we're gonna call this episode Nurse on Call. And today, joining us, y'all, Stephanie Spear. Like, oh my God. Let me just give y'all a quick introduction of Stephanie Spear, y'all. Like, first of all, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And might I add, you look very beautiful today.
Thank you.
And I have not seen you in how long? And I don't feel ashamed, but I know that life happens.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a great mini reunion between you and I.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's amazing, because here we are in the same area, but to know that you're doing great things like this and that I'm able to be a part of it is absolutely amazing. So thank you for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. Guys, I just want to give y'all my quick introduction. Stephanie is... I've always felt like I didn't have any right people in my corner. How I was introduced to Stephanie was through another mutual party that has taken her CNA training school in South Carolina, in Emmons, South Carolina. Let me correct myself. In Emmons, South Carolina, at Karen Hand's training school. And I was going through a rough time. This was back in 2016, guys. And once I got into her CNA training course, my sister passed away July 2016. And we're going to get into all of that. I'm not going to get emotional about it. But 2016 was a very challenging year for me. I was going through a lot. and for Stephanie to step up and to really like help me out. We're gonna get into all of that, all the good details, but she helped me in a way like I didn't think that I had anybody that had my back like she does. And not only she is a great, phenomenal healthcare trainer, and she trained a lot of men, women in the healthcare system to further their careers and everything. But because of Stephanie, I've stepped out of my comfort zone, and I've been through hospice. I've worked as a CNA full time. I don't work full time as of now, but working in a hospital, in the ER, an emergency room, done private duties. Like I went back to school in the midst of me graduating her course. Like I've taken dialysis, which helped me out with being a ER tech and drawing lab work for for lab urinal things in the ER. So I just want to say she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a daughter. Like I could go on and on about Stephanie Spear, and even though it's like, you have that great friend that, what I'm saying, y'all may not talk every day, but when y'all meet up, it's just like you pick right up. So how have you been? Just tell us how have you been, and like let's start from where you come from.
Okay. I've actually been doing great, and thank you for asking.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, as you can imagine, and as you saw when you took the class back in 2016, I'm busy.
Yeah.
One of the things I dope myself in and I'm dedicated to is my family, my children, of course, as well as my students, because my students rely on me for a number of different things, and that includes, acting as if you are or you're in that mothering spirit. You've got that mothering role, getting them ready for the future. And it's not just about healthcare related training, but it's to prepare them for other things that are out there.
Right.
And so, what I pride myself on is I don't just teach you how to be a CNA or a phlebotomist or a medical assistant, even. I teach you how to be humanistic while providing care for those that are in great need. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes heart. It takes dedication. It takes compassion. And so for me, it's not, again, about teaching. It's about sharing. It's about preparing people for what's out there. And so for 15 years, that's what I've done. And mind you, when I started this, I never imagined that it would blossom into what I now refer to as a school, because it was just simply CNA training.
Right.
And now it's grown into so much more. And being able to reach those that are wanting to enter into the entry level form of healthcare, it means a lot.
So let me ask you this, and what made you? First of all, you're like your title. You're a registered nurse,
I
correct?
am. I'm a registered nurse.
And how long you been a registered nurse?
I've been an RN for almost 20 years, but I started out as a CNA back in
Okay.
1995. Took
Okay.
a CNA class, and although I was all about business, I wanted to be an accountant. I enjoyed working with numbers. My key punch speed was 65 to 80 words a minute. I mean, I'm wide open.
That's impressive.
Oh, wow. But, this all correlates to nursing.
Right.
But one day I took that class, and although growing up, my granddad said, "You'll be an amazing nurse," I thought, that's not for me. But when I took that CNA class, it was like a switch had been flipped. And it's like, oh my God, this is it. And I never imagined that I'd eventually be teaching others to do that too. But it showed me that that's the person that I am. I care.
And knowing that you're a very caring person and all the things I just shared, my next question is how like did it become like second nature to just be like this great nurturer, like the mother in you? Like, were you like an only child? Like, if you not an only child, like, were you the oldest? Like, you had the mother, your younger siblings? Like, how was that?
I'm the oldest of three girls,
Oh, okay.
but the mothering spirit it kind of came along as my mom got sick. It was you step into that role. And being the oldest, a lot of times you kind of take on the responsibility of guiding and directing. And so, of course, you've got all these things that you're trying to make sure are together and hoping that everybody that sees what you're doing is based on what you were raised to do. So
Right.
it's making sure that my sister is still doing what my mom would encourage us to do.
Right.
Sharing with my sons as well as her sons, the
Right.
things that they need to be doing. And so it's that mothering spirit, I think, for me was natural. It's just falling right into what you know to do. And so, even with that, later as I grew in my career and became an RN and was a director of nursing in a facility covering both assisted living and skilled nursing, when I was called for that position, one of the statements that was made was, the girls need a mama, and you have that mothering spirit. Now, I
Oh.
never imagined that being a director would require the mothering spirit, but it does. Because you have to be able to nurture some of these ladies who
Oh,
have difficult
yes.
backgrounds and they're walking
Yes.
in to provide care for people.
Exactly.
Because if their spirit's not right or their mind's not right,
Oh,
the care is
yes.
not going to be there. So it
That's
started there.
so true. So we're gonna talk about numbers because you did say something about numbers. Like, what is like your graduating rates and for people to pass their state boards?
Oh, wow. For the last, and I may be exaggerating just a teeny
Look,
bit.
you can
but
15 years. Go ahead and exaggerate.
in 15 years, I've maintained that 85, 95% pass fail ratio for students taking their state exam.
Okay.
Every once in a while you get someone who's a ball of nerves. They know the information. I'd
Right.
like to say that I'm 100% every time. But there's that person that they may not walk in, they second guess themselves, or they're just anxious, or they're overthinking it. I actually had one that she just got sick during the test.
Oh,
But I pride
wow.
myself being able to go in and comfort that person, prepare them for what they're going to walk into. But I also kind of jokingly say, if you can look at that evaluator as a family member that is watching you take care of their loved one, convince that loved one that you can take care of their parent.
That's right.
And it usually works out. And so that's how I've been able to say my students were able to get through it without the extra added pressure that someone's watching them and grading them on how perfect they are versus that I'm giving quality care.
I love that so much. I want to also like kind of because like whether you're going to school to be a CNA, RN, LPN, the doctor, PAs, and all of that, and it's just like what school really don't prepare you for is the real world when you just go out there and you're in training on the job, being hands on, and then some people get cold feet. Like, is this the right profession for me? Like, I can't deal with a screaming grandma, or I can't deal with a combative grandpa, or sight patients come in as children. Like, people are manic, like they have such mental disorders. And here at the Grand Talk, I speak about a lot of self-awareness and mental health and how to heal your traumas. So, is there like any traumas that you face from growing up? Like, I know we hear that, being a nurturer, it comes second nature, but, people don't see who you are outside of your scrub clothes.
Right.
Your uniform, let me just say. I'm just so. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oftentimes that uniform becomes your everyday wear.
Right.
But I can't say that I experienced any significant traumas that motivated me or moved me towards healthcare. But I will add that growing up, my granddad lived with us from the age of 10 until he passed away when I was about to turn 15. I was getting ready for my 10th grade year. And he was probably the only person that I could sit down with and just listen to his stories. And for me, being around geriatrics, and I guess that probably says And I
Yeah.
said I'm an old soul, I guess.
Yeah. You're
But
seasoned.
exactly. So with that being said, being able to do that just led me to believe that I'm more geared towards the geriatrics, the older individuals that need somebody to listen to them. And he'd call me in there and he'd ask me to do things, and there wasn't anything that he didn't think I could do because he said that gal can fix it. So if he was getting ready for church, that gal got him ready, and I did
Right.
everything from helping him put his pants on to putting his leg cath back on. Everything he would let me do. And although we're a girl, I mean, it was myself, my mom, my sister, and him. And so
Right.
he was kind of the minority with a group of women. So we all had
Right.
to adjust and adapt to taking care of him. But with that being said, it prepared me for this. And he would
Right.
always say, "You're going to make a good nurse." And I thought, I don't want to do that. But once I took that CNA class and started doing just what I was doing with him, just fell right into what should have probably always been.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I could just honestly say for me, like my traumas, and I've spoken on certain traumas, like what led me into healthcare. And I could say within my own family, like I've had a lot of nurses in my family. And like you, like the nurturing side of me, it becomes second nature. And growing up, excuse me, my childhood was not all that great. And I just knew what felt right and what didn't. So it's like, if I can help someone else, like, I've always, and that's the Libra, like, this is Libra season, so we are so much like people pleasers, and people, you know what I'm saying? Me being very outspoken at a very young age, I grew up in an era where if you was a child, you had to stay in the child's place. Like, you cannot speak up to grown folks. And you know what I'm saying? So when you're being like sheltered like that and being like shut down, that you cannot really develop, like, it's like that type of verbal and mental abuse and emotional abuse. It keeps you small. It keeps you want to stay hidden. And I just knew I just could never be hidden. Like, I gotta speak out and speak up for those who are feeling like this, like you can't escape, and you're in this mental imprisonment, and then having to grow up into such a profession, having to deal with other people that are mentally ill, and how to not let every little thing stress you out. So I'm not sure if you watched episode 7. I talked about the workplace environment. Things that people like your mother don't get you prepared for, right? Like, get you prepared for the
Right.
real world. Like, until you go to college, like you move out or whatever case may be, and not everybody goes straight to college right after high school. And I did, but I was one of those that college wasn't the place for me. So, I worked. So it was like, it was always in me to have such a great work ethic. And I've always like helped other people. Like, I worked in retail and everything. So back to what I was originally saying about how I originated from wanting to help people. I knew I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be like an RN nurse. But as I got older, I started to develop other likings and other things. And I didn't want to like keep myself in a box. Not, just to limit myself to doing one thing only. Like, in my years of growing up, and I'm sure like with your generation, we had, just the basics. You become a nurse, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become a police officer, you become a firefireman, things like that. Like, I mean, nowadays, speeding up the years, the decades come about, like people are making their own way. So when did, well, you said 95 you started carrying hands?
Well, actually, that's when I took a CNA training. I
Well,
started
your
carrying
CNA
hands
training.
in 2010.
Okay. So what or when did you say, I'm gonna become my own entrepreneur?
While working as a director, we needed staff. It was finding people that were dedicated, that had the heart and the drive to do it. So I had this epiphany. I thought, well, I'll start a CNA training program. We'll see how many people are engaged. If we can't boost our staffing, it'll improve on that end, but I can train these individuals to provide the care based on how I expect it to be given. So if I'm training them to give the care, then I can hire them in the facility where I'm the director because I know I trained them. So I'm not getting somebody who I don't know how they were fully trained. I don't know if they possess the skills. I don't know their mindset. I know them. So, of course, starting it, I was able to staff my building to the point that I really wasn't hiring any of my students anymore. I was just rolling the students out and getting them out into the general population for other facilities that were in need. And so you had those that were reaching out, asking if I could do training for their facilities, and they were sending individuals to me as well. But I never.
So how did they know to reach you out? I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're fine.
So because we didn't have social media like we do now, like 15 years ago. We had like social media, but it's not like where you promoted your business.
Right.
And if you had to find out who had what business, you either went to the the beauty
The beauty
the beauty supply store, beauty shops, yes, grocery stores,
Yes.
Bilo, Ingles.
Somebody knew somebody, that knew somebody.
Right, or you just put the posters up on the power lines and just say, hey, this is my business. Like, we used to create off the computer. So it's just like, wow, like here we are digital. So
Right.
like, what, like, I want to ask you so many questions.
It's okay.
But it's just like, how were they able to like reach out to you and to say like, or was it a thing like where people or someone that knew you and say Stephanie is great, because a lot of people have their own opinions about you. You know what I'm saying? I just like keep it real.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. It started actually after attending one of the DON training sessions at Spartanburg Regional.
Okay.
We were having some facility-wide training with a number of the facilities around the area, trying to improve or decrease hospitalizations or rehospitalizations. So during that meeting, I was sitting across from several different members from other nursing homes, to include White Oak Manor, Magnolia Manor, etc. And the administrator says, "Oh my goodness, you do CNA training." And of course, one thing led to another, which resulted in them agreeing to, we signed a contract and they were sending students to me or staff. And then of course, another facility jumped on and it just kind of escalated from there.
Oh, wow. Because, back in the day, people had to see what type of work you do before they even give you any type of yeses.
Yes.
So that's the whole blessing in it still.
Absolutely.
It just like, you just got to have compassion for it. And some people, like any profession, like, come on, like, yes, you want to make money. Yes, you do it to make money, to provide for your household, for your children, for, your families. So it's just like, when I was mentioning social media, like, even in my dialysis training, like, we were able to whip out our phones and just take a quick little video on what's being taught, like how to insert a butterfly needle into the vein, to do it correctly. So it's like, I'm a visual person. So for me to like be like, I gotta see your work. So that's just where I'm coming from. I'm a tad bit old school and seasoned. But social media has grown so much over the years. So it's just like, wait a minute. This is your first podcast, correct?
It is.
So it was so meant for me to just like,
Absolutely.
hey, we need to see behind the scenes of what Karen Hands is about. Because, like, yes, good for promotional business, but you've been doing it for a long time. Let me ask you this. because when I did your training, you just did CNA, and I was just like kind of like waiting for you to do LPN. I was like, yeah, she gonna do LPN courses. I'm gonna be LPN, and then it happened. I was just like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. So, what all do you train and teach?
Okay. I offer phlebotomy in addition to CNA. We have phlebotomy, medical assisting, pharmacy technician, EKG technician,
Oh wow! Come on, somebody.
medical assistant.
Come on,
I
somebody.
also offer infusion therapy for those such as medical assistants, nurses, EMTs, those that need that refresher training on how to simply start an IV. I also offer BLS and CPR training as well as medication administration.
Oh my God! Like I am so moved
So there's a
and
plethora of
motivated.
offerings there.
Listen, y'all, if you're not betting on yourself, if you're not trusting in the process, like that right there, it just speaks volumes on keep going.
Absolutely.
Somebody's gonna see your work and what you do, see your rates, and you said you started as a DON. I did not know that.
I was a DON when I started it. And if you didn't know that that's what I did during the day, because my theory was what I do during the day should have no bearing on what I do at night. And
Right.
So no one knew. Very few people knew that I did both.
And to be honest, I can be a nosy person. I have it honest. And I just never like wanted to ask you what I'm saying, just having conversation. Like yeah, I knew you was an RN. That's like I was like, okay, I don't know, like how did she get started? So I've always wanted to ask her, but I want to go ahead and just dive on into it because yes. We're gonna start talking about the behind the scenes, and you got those very set in their ways. To call you gal and call you the N word, and you gotta have tough skin.
You do. You do.
So, is there any advice that you give like your students, like as they're stepping into this field in their profession, what to be mentally prepared for? And then you got some of those that are combative and they fight you, they kick you, spit at you, and I don't mean to sound very vulgar. And if you eat, just please disregard. Some just throw poop at you out here. I ain't never got that close, but I could be my ancestors YN. But but you gotta have tough skin, and you got to say, listen, I can tap out and just have somebody else come and give you care, because right now our energies are very much so not in a very good space right now. And I don't want to agitate you, and I don't want to get agitated because this is how I got to pay my bills. So what is the best advice to tell someone like, hey, you're going to come into those racist residents and patients
And family members.
and family members. Oh, child, we're going to get into, okay. What would you?
So as far as caring for the patients themselves, what I oftentimes tell the students is to think that in most cases it's the dementia. It's their disease progression that is causing them to say the things that they do. And a lot of times with that, they will go back because they will remember things from 30 years ago better than what they remembered and they had for breakfast this morning. So their long-term memory stays intact versus their short-term. So basically, what I'm saying is that was always them. It never
Right.
really went away. It's just now that they have gotten older, they have dementia. It is now resurfacing and they're expressing themselves. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that, again, like you said, you have to have tough skin. You have to pick and choose your battles as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes being the bigger person to turn and walk away, ignoring, or simply saying, I understand you're angry, but tonight or today, we're going to get you changed and prepared for what you need to do. Sometimes if you kill them with kindness, it's hard for even the meanest person to
Yeah.
continue with that behavior because they didn't rally you.
Right.
And I had to learn that with everything, whether it's providing care to being on the management side of anything that I do. You've got to pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with somebody with bad behaviors, they're saying things, family members included, you have to learn to pick and choose your battles. So it may be a tactful response to that name calling or the belittlement or the degrading statements. But oftentimes when they see that you're unmoved, it
Yeah.
actually bothers them more than it did you. Now that may not stop you from having to go to the bathroom and having a moment, Trey from Boys in the Hood moment. But at the same
Dope boy.
time, you didn't lose what you worked so hard for.
Right.
Because, of course, once you have been deemed as having a nasty attitude or you responded inappropriately to somebody, healthcare is a small circle.
Oh, yes.
And that goes from one building to another building, from one mouth to another. And you may find yourself finding it difficult getting jobs that you really prefer to have.
Oh,
So
yes.
again, it's just picking and choosing your battles, responding tactfully, smile and wave.
Listen. Look, are you done before I start even getting into my own? Because, like, you said something and it stuck out to me about dementia. I've become this far in my, let me just say, I've been doing healthcare since 2020. Nope. Don't give me the line. 2005. Like, I've been like doing vocational school when I was in high school. I was in the medical assistant. I did first responder. I've done the CNA training, but I didn't end my school year with taking the state boards because I didn't have the money. And during my clinicals, I never like experienced a racist resident until I later in life I joined the forces with Stephanie, and I went through all her training, and the place that we ain't gonna say nobody's name, the place that I was doing my clinicals, it was just so much going on. And I'm gonna get into that little story later on. But what I was starting to say, y'all, the dementia word, I just feel like it's just another code for they just go back into another dimension. And is it okay? I mean, it is what it is. That's who you always have been. And then you have family members. Oh, my grandma was never like that. I'm like, yes, she was.
Yes, she was.
If she has so much dementia, Alzheimer's, and she see my skin, and she called me a black girl, yes, she knows. She knows the term that she really wants to say, and it shows in her attitude. And I'm not saying that you are allowed to accept that, because if you feel uncomfortable with being called the N-word, and you just, you report it to the nurse, that's what they tell you to do. You gotta follow those rules and regulations of your handbook, like I mentioned in episode 7. So it's like, due to the fact that you're not being thrown under the bus, like, for, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta be, like I said, you gotta speak up. So it just like, I have grown spiritually when you come at a situation with a resident and they use such vulgar words, and just say, listen here, we not gonna play this game, and I'm gonna keep it very a thousand with you, and I'm very like hood. So when I say a thousand, y'all know understand what I mean. So we just gonna be either you want me to provide patient care, or I could just get someone else to do you. I don't have to because I don't feel comfortable at this point. So newbies coming in, that is my good advice for you. If you don't feel comfortable with something, and normally they tell you, okay, if they are feeling uneasy at this time, try back again within 30 minutes to an hour. Just see if their mood changes. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it just like, I've had a time or two where I would say, hey, I don't think I can go back in this room. Can you not switch off rooms? And that way, the patient was not being neglected or abandoned, but you still have to speak up for yourself as well. Because just as they have rights, you have your rights as well. So, moving to the next question, Miss Stephanie. Family members. They think they can do your job better than you can. Like, I'm sorry. If you feel like I'm not providing the correct care for your loved ones, why don't you take them with you? And that's a lot of nurses, CNAs, LPNs want to say, or some of them do say it.
And that is a bad statement to deliver, because here's the thing.
Yes.
If it weren't for those that have made that decision to put their loved one in a facility that requires care, for many of us that work in settings like that, where would we work? I get that it's challenging, and it's more so on both sides, because it very well may be difficult for that family member to watch their loved one, the matriarch or the patriarch of the family, decline. It's difficult for us because we're dealing with the family who is feeling guilty. They're upset because mom's declined and mom doesn't remember who they are, etc. There may be some guilt because they're having to get rid of things that mom has had for years. And so in order to pay for their stay, there may be a lot of different circumstances that may warrant their behavior in their eyes. But for us, we don't see that.
Right.
What we see is how they're coming towards us, what they're saying, what they're speaking on. And it seems unnecessary. But what I try to stress to people, and it is difficult at times, but put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if it were you? You were on the other side, and I too was that family member. But how would you feel if your loved one, who was up, walking, doing everything, you could call her whenever you wanted, and all of a sudden, just like that, she's had a massive stroke. She's no longer able to communicate verbally. She's looking at you. You don't know if she knows who you are.
Right.
And you're really not meant to, or you're incapable of being that caregiver.
Right.
Because everybody can't be a caregiver.
Oh, gosh.
So, again, it's being empathetic. It's putting yourself in their shoes.
Right.
Hopefully trying to understand where they're coming from. And oftentimes, if you take a moment and have a conversation with folks that are aggressive like that, oftentimes their tables turn and they're willing to talk with you. But not everybody has that level of patience to where they can talk to people.
Right.
And at the same time, that family member may not be, because they're so angry. And some are just naturally nasty. I have no button for that. And I have no pill for that.
Right.
I have no remedy for that.
Oh, gosh, yes.
But unfortunately, in healthcare, for what we do, you do have to have that tough skin to where you can overlook those that do make those statements about the care that's being given. And again, I think some of it's secondary to what they're paying for. Because if I'm paying $10,000, $15,000 per month for mom to be in a skilled facility, I don't want to hear that you don't have enough staff in the building. I care less.
Yes.
Because my rate is going to be the same every month, whether you have 5 CNAs to 2. So again, I think some of that behavior and their statements come from that, but it's not appropriate for them to make the statements that they do to staff. But again, it's one of those where I don't have a magic button or band-aid to put on for that.
Right.
So.
But I just want to just say, like, you have those skilled nursing facilities that have family, and the family don't even come see them. and you have that one family member that shows up, and you got to do everything. Like, you got to drop everybody that you got to take care of just to take care. I'm like, listen, and it's like, okay, you only come when you want money. You know what I'm saying? The
First of the
gossip,
month.
right? First of the month or the third of the month. You gotta take her around and go pay whatever bill, whatever the case may be. But I'm speaking on that because I have too been on the both sides of the coin, like being hands on, and then having a family member have to, you know what I'm saying, going through patient care, and sometimes when you have to do your own family, it is touching.
It's touching.
It's very touching if you really care for that particular loved one. You know, some people, they do, like I said, when I did home health, like some, God forbid, like, how are you so frustrated with this person that can't even, like, get in the car and pay their own bills, but you huffing and puffing just to do a littlest thing, like mailing off like a check for them or something like that. You know, I just think, and then those are the same people that I see probably in the emergency room, like, how long it's gonna be? Like, they so
They're
impatient.
so impatient.
They so impatient, and I can understand, like, you gotta run, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, but what's more important? You staying to get care, or you going home and then you pass out again, or your loved one pass out again. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to, like, give people, like, they have this projection onto a CNA, like, oh, you only do this to white booties, and I'm just like, hell, for you do it.
I think that falls right in line with the terminology that CNAs are glorified butt wipers.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I hate, because what a lot of folks tend to forget, nurses, dietary, housekeeping, upper management, is that without the CNAs, your team is not fully meshed. Because anything that you want to know about the residents or patients that are in that facility,
Right.
your CNAs know. They know them. They can tell you everything from how they like to be dressed, what they like to eat, what they don't want to eat, etc. So if you don't respect your staff, it makes it more of a uncomfortable or hostile work environment, because you only just thought that they were just CNAs. And that's a term that
Yes.
just bothers me.
And you know, I don't mean to cut you off, but it just, like, CNAs get strays from everybody, like not just within,
Bottom of the
like,
barrel.
the nurses, the LPNs, you know what I'm saying, that would not answer call light. I'm talking about people on the outside looking in. Oh, you know what I'm saying, they just certified booty wipers. And I'm gonna share this with you because this happened to me, and you know, I'm a very blunt person. I'm all Libra, but the other zodiac signs, they come out of me. I'm gonna let you have it. This nurse, RN, go tell me, oh, you're just a EST. No, baby, I'm not just nothing. You are the booty wiper. And I was just defending myself, but I told her, you are the booty wiper, but you just get paid a lot more than me a little bit. If that.
Goodness.
Don't come for me, because I
No.
didn't send for you. We're here to work together. Like, but one thing about it, I noticed, those that try to come for me, they get walked out before I do. I'm still standing. So your comment is
Unwarranted.
invalid at this point.
I will say, when I worked at, and I'll say it, at Mountain View years ago, a lot of their CNAs had been there for 20, 30 plus years, and that's what you call seasoned and dedicated.
Oh, yes.
Back when the pay for CNAs was very minimal, very minute. But I don't know that it was oh so much about the money as opposed to their hearts, because they enjoyed doing what they were doing and they were dedicated. When I tell you it was you bring those residents out, they look their best, their hair better be on point, their clothes better match. You didn't
Those
just
the
bring them
divas.
out to the dining room and say, I got them up. You took pride in what you were doing, and they were very vocal about that.
Right.
But one of the things that several of them said, because I too started out as a CNA with them before taking my LPN boards.
Right.
And so I didn't make that public knowledge because I didn't want anyone to treat me any different. I was out there, I'm a CNA,
Right.
that's what I do.
Right.
And so, of course, one of them said, when you get your nursing license, I don't want you to forget where you came from.
That's right.
But I also want you to remember that if you are good to us, we will be good to you.
right.
Because we are all capable of doing the same things. And I took that to heart because, of course, when that CNA told me, it's kind of like the mayor of the unit. You know, she wanted to make sure that I understood the ground rules,
Yes.
but I've walked with that and I've carried it. And I try to tell any new and upcoming CNA that if you are good to your nurse will be good to you, but you should get the respect from your nurse as well, because without you, that nurse can't perform her job. And I think that if
That's
a lot of
right.
the newer nurses understood that, their
Right.
life would be so much easier. Healthcare wouldn't
A
be as
hundred
difficult.
percent. 100%. I've even told some charges, I said, hey, step into my office.
Right.
Because, I mean, I've been trained by one of the best, Stephanie Smith.
Amen.
And two, I'm very proactive with what I do. And I know my job. You don't have to micromanage me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to accept your nitpicking, but I can't speak up for myself. So, you know what I'm saying? I know what my calling is, and that's to help and heal other people. So to further what you were saying, that you know a great seasoned nurse when they are very versatile. Like they don't mind helping CNAs, PCAs, and techs. Because they can tell you too, hey, I started out as a CNA.
there.
Like, right. They go back, like some of them, they don't forget where they come from.
Bingo.
So I'm going to shift the gears a bit.
Okay.
Because we're going to get into our Grande Star of the Week. So our Grande Star of the Week is someone that I just went to the Spartanburg baseball field for the first time. Have you been yet?
I have not. OMG.
You should go before the season is over
I'd
with.
like to go.
I have yet to get a picture with the Spartanburger burger. I'm going to call him Hamburger Helper. Because we ain't get no picture. I got a picture with the bird. And I love mascots. I went to Spartanburg High School. Like, shout out to the Vikings.
Viking Nation.
Okay, period.
Hello.
So, y'all, this week's Grande Star of the Week is Ellie the Elephant from Liberty, WNBA. Like, oh my gosh. Like, y'all, Ellie is so hype. Like, her energy is so phenomenal. Like she dances, like it's pure entertainment. Y'all, if I ever meet Ellie, please, that would be my fangirling over like somebody that is very much so a public figure. But we don't know if Ellie's a girl or a woman. I mean, a female or male. I pretty much think Ellie is a male. It's giving flamboyancy, but that's my. But because the energy that Ellie like gives to social media and at those basketball games, for people to go out with their loved ones and enjoy, you know what I'm saying? It's very healing. It's very like laughing is good for the soul.
Absolutely.
So it's like she gonna keep you laughing. She can dance, and I'm a great dancer and a choreographer, so I love the entertainment. And some honey, she get to acting like Ellie the Minaj, like she loved wear her hair like Nicki Minaj and Mary J. Blige with the dance. Y'all, oh my gosh, like shout out to Ellie. What's up, my Grande Boos and Grande Bays? If this video clip finds you, then you are truly turned into this episode. Thank you for supporting my podcast. And if you want to become a Grande Boo or Grande Bay, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like, comment below, share this video. And also, if you're an entrepreneur or just simply want to join as guests, you can email me with the link below to secure your spot. And stay tuned. And now you're back to this episode on the Grand Talk Podcast. Still a fit check up in here. Okay. I see you, girl. So I'm going to get back into it on graduation night for me and you.
Uh-huh.
Well, me with you. That was the night I just felt so accomplished. And I just, again, thank you for taking such like great mentorship. Like, I felt more safe with you and everything. And even like I said, I was struggling financially wise. Like, I had my own apartment, I had my own car and everything, I had my bills, but I was just like, it was time that I didn't even have money to buy my own uniform, and you did that once before. I don't know if you remember that, but I had to bring that, shed light on that, because the true being that you are, being that light, being such a provider and caretaker, and I was like, oh yeah, I have to pay you back. You the type you was like, you don't have to pay me back. Like, you so nice.
I remember the look on your face, and I think for me, the reason that I enjoy doing what I do is that not only I teach, but I reach. And when you can look in someone's face and see that their dream is as big as yours, they want what you want them to have, but there's walls up. I pride myself on helping them knock those walls down. So I remember when you pulled up in front of the building, and I remember seeing you get out of the car and your eyes are filled with water.
Yes.
I remember my conversations with, as they say, my babies, because you know when they
Yeah.
have a need. And I tell, others that, want to teach or they're helping me teach. You meet a person where they are, but if you look, before you listen, just look, watch the person's face. You can tell what's going on with them without them ever speaking.
Yes.
And again, I think that's part of the mothering spirit. But sometimes it's not
Yes.
what you say, it's what you don't say. And it's just paying attention. So when I see that my student has a need, and I know I've been told before, oh, you should just do this and let it go. It was never about the money for me. It was about being able to give back and give people what they wanted to get where I am.
Right.
And I don't think that I'm that far, but I do enjoy what I do, but other people would like to be there, may not have the means to get there.
Right.
And if I can help somebody get there, may not be at the rate they want to, then I'm going to do all I can to do so.
And I thank you for that so much. And I tell you, thank you a 1,000 times more. Like, with your base rate for to get into your, like, are they the same rates for your different courses, or how does that
The
work?
rates vary. It
Okay.
just depends on the program and the length of the program. For example, CNA is 6 weeks now. The classes meet twice a week in person. And
Okay.
then, of course, you have a day where you just have complete busy work.
Right.
The price is, the tuition itself is $11.50. And then, of
Okay.
course, you have your other ancillary fees that include your state testing, your uniform cost is
Right.
included, your textbook and supplies, drug screen, PPD, etc. So
Right.
everything, I'm kind of like a one-stop shop. You come
Right.
in, you can do your PPD, drug screen, CPR, all in-house without having to be outsourced to do all of that.
Right.
And so some may say, oh, the price is more than others. That's because you're doing everything in there. But at the same time, I'm an in-facility testing center, which means you test where you train.
Right.
So the likelihood that your outcome is going to be where you want it to be is greater than going somewhere where you don't know when you're going to test,
Right.
if you're going to pass it, et cetera. And granted, I can't guarantee that everybody's going to pass, but the likelihood that you don't,
Right.
slim to none, because you've gotten the materials. You've been exposed to everything that you need. And I also offer the option of coming back practicing on days when you're not in class, because my doors are open.
That's very much so informative. Like, when someone signs up for any of your courses, just to say, like, when you say you saw the look on my face and everything, like, I'm a very private
Mm-hmm.
person, and I'm the type of private person, like, I don't want to feel like if I start to vent to you, like I'm dumping
Mm-hmm.
all what I'm going through on that person, because that's not right. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But when people got to break out, like, on a mental health, on the spiritual side,
Mm-hmm.
like, you want to, like, just kind of like have someone that can understand and talk to you and not talk about you, or
Right.
to tell the whole community, oh, this person need me for this money. And for one, I ain't embarrassed to say nothing about the things that I've gone through. I've even talked about cars being repoed. Just one car. Just one. I've had many cars. But like like I said, I lost my sister, y'all. And like, I was about to start a plant job before I even
Mm-hmm.
took your course. I was starting a plant job, um, and that happened with my sister. She was on hospice at the age of
Mm.
26, and it was just a lot. And to hear her, crying that she didn't want to leave her child by herself and everything, and like, it was a lot. And then at the end of that year, I was involved in a very abusive relationship. Like, it got physical. Like, like, when the love started to show up on your face, like, it's not real love. So, again, I didn't know myself
Mm-hmm.
at that particular time. I didn't know who to turn to, where to turn to, and I was very much so in a very, very low, dark space. And you know, if people would just be just honest about the things they go through, but some people, you know, like I said, they don't want their business to be put out in the
Mm-hmm.
streets.
This is true.
So it's just like, I'm just I'm just hoping that someone that is watching this, that you understand that it's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed or feel embarrassed. I mean, you chances slim to none to run into someone that's as genuine as Stephanie Spear. And I was grateful. I was very grateful. I was very appreciative for all you've done for me. And even, I paid the tuition, and it was high at that particular time, but it sounded like you had to raise your prices up. Like, cost of living is going up, so it's just like, you gotta pay for your future, really. And I want to go ahead and ask you, Stephanie, like, what other courses do you have coming? I know we kind of talked about it a bit.
We did. Um, Without saying too much, I am working on the hemodialysis technician.
Okay.
Dialysis has been one of those areas where more people are in need. And so having people that are trained and able to provide and meet the needs of the patient is important. Also, behavior monitor tech.
Mm,
There's so many people that have behavioral issues that there's not enough people that are trained
mm,
to deal with people with behaviors. And ironically,
right.
you mentioned that earlier. Having people that are trained to give care for those individuals and then being prepared and knowing how to deal with the unexpected,
Mhm.
it's needed. Because as
Right.
I stated, we have more people that are being diagnosed with dementia, schizophrenia.
Mhm.
There's so many varying forms of dementia that for those that are not trained to deal with that, that
Right.
means you're going to have the limitations on staff
That's right.
in the healthcare facilities. So being able to train the folks to be prepared to take care of people that have behaviors is important.
That's
And so I
right.
feel like that's a need across the board. But I actually had someone reach out several months back, and one of the things, like most, they think that Miss Stephanie can do any and everything. And she said, "Why don't you consider it?" And I thought, why? But after going back and researching it, why not? There is that need. And so those are some things that are coming out of the box.
And I was listening to everything you saying,
It's
and
quite all right.
I had to really like look back at my phone for a split second. Which brings me to, because you mentioned about behavioral monitoring, we're gonna get into this week's social media spotlight. This week we're gonna give it to Floster Mac. This comedian, he has these skits about working in a psych ward. Have you seen it?
I have not.
I'm gonna have to show you, but we're gonna get into like a little clip because he's in the spotlight today. Because yes, for episode 8, why not?
All right, and we're gonna do all this extra stuff today now. I got time.
How you doing?
We miss you.
So nice to see you. I see you got that sensor down that pack for
Yeah,
you.
and they feed you. You got your weight up. Look at you.
Yeah,
Oh,
grew
oh,
a little bit.
Okay, look, we're so excited to see your hair looking real
It's
nice.
so pretty.
Is that my damn hat?
Well, how they treat you in here?
Okay, so you made any friends yet?
You growing up so fast.
I ain't never gave a fuck. I ain't never gave a fuck.
Yeah, they gonna change your meds. Yeah, you been having them headaches and stuff. They gonna get your meds. They gonna be stronger, and you ain't got to worry about being around here looking crazy. You gonna get your meds together. You good.
I ain't never gave a fuck. I ain't never gave a fuck. I ain't never gave a fuck. I ain't never gave a fuck.
You okay? What?
I ain't never gave a fuck.
It was right on time, was it,
It
not?
was right on time. It's so funny, like, but it's the truth. It's what you go through, and Angela is a paid actor,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
played by him. He got like this trench coat on with this beret on, and he has this little stuffed animal. I don't know what it is. It's like a blue stuffed animal, and she calls it Sarah, like the best friend that can speak and talk. But Angela is the character, the behavioral character, and when she's off her meds, it is out like
Off the chain.
it's like I turn all this shit over. and you hear when they say "oh shit" in the skit, but it just like Angela, but she about to get turned up. You have to see this. So
I'm gonna have to
hilarious.
see that.
Like he has really like marked his mark. As I don't know if he's worked as a CNA or whatever case may be, but it just like he shows how shifts are changed. He shows when family members come and visit that patient and how they be like just sitting there like just and then she gets them, my name's Sarah, like what I'm saying, like it's hilarious. So I just want to bring some laughs and giggles about this week's social media spotlight, because you gotta laugh and work from
really
crying.
do.
You
You
gotta
really
keep yourself in high spirits. So over the course of years, and you've trained so many men and women, and I'm trying. You also had another RN, like an assistant. I think it's
Charlene.
Is it
Miss
Charlene?
and I also
Okay.
had Miss Letitia, who was helping.
Letitia, that's
Yes.
who it was with our
Yes.
our
She
class.
She
But
was.
she kept us laughing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta laugh from crying. And you gotta have also a team behind you. Just so the brand can do what it do and you reach out to people and everything. So my next question: how are you balancing marriage life, children? How old is your son now?
Sons? I have
Sons.
two. They're
Okay.
26 and 29, so they're not babies. They're very strong men and adults. So they're
Okay.
very independent like their mom. But the balance between work and school and marriage, it's hard. It's difficult. And I'm sure my husband says, oh, Lord, I don't see you and I don't do this. But he knows and he's understood from day one where my heart's at and what I enjoy doing. And oftentimes he will fuss and say, and you don't even take any time for yourself.
Ooh.
But at the same time, he'll come back and say, well, now you got to stay focused and you got to make sure that you got this. And so he sees both sides of it. But at the same time, he sees where my heart has always been, and it's giving back, teaching, educating. And he too has picked up on a lot of the verbiage that I share with my students.
Right.
So now he's out regurgitating the same things. Oh, I think that, you need to elevate your leg because that looks like you're in a little heart failure. And so
Oh.
I think he's been learning as well. He's been an in-house student, but
Okay.
it can be difficult at times. I will say
Listen,
that. I will
He's
say
a
it.
good man, Savannah. He is a
Definitely.
good man, Savannah. How did y'all meet? Because he's saying that you don't get out much. How did y'all meet?
Well, goodness. I'm just kind of a social. I was working. I was in my uniform, and
He
Go
met you
figure.
in uniform?
absolutely.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it's just one of those where he met me doing what I do.
Yeah.
So
What was the attraction like? Like, because it's like you don't give off someone that, you know how some nurses say, when I go home, I just sip me a glass of wine, or just just go out for a breath of fresh air. Like, what that attraction, like, what draw you to your husband?
I think it's the ability to communicate, the conversation, the smiles, and so for someone that can talk to me like I talk to them, that's where the bond started.
Okay.
To know me is to know me. When I'm talking, I'm talking. When I'm not, I'm not. And he's the same way. So it's the
So
commonalities, I guess.
I love that because I mean, like I said, I'm a very private person. But however, how you find the balance within your relationship, your marriage. And I can't speak from a marital status, but as a Libra, sometimes those scales are not balancing. So, when it's bad, it's bad, but when it's good, it's great. So, even with, what I'm saying, you have personalities to clash. And you listen, and you don't have to work with a lot of people, which is great. And I love that your whole entrepreneurship, but you have a team, and I love that. But I want to ask, when you do go home, because I remember you mentioned this earlier, people don't get to know or see what you do when you go home. So, Stephanie, how do you balance within yourself how to not take on anybody's emotions, emotional state? Because I just poured out to you, I it was like there was a need for support, because I didn't have that. And it showed up in a lot in my relationships. So how can you tell us how do Stephanie balance herself when it's like the scales is out?
When the
Not
scales are
balancing,
off.
right?
For me, to balance myself or get back, is taking a step back. And I'm one of those that at the end of the day, I always reevaluate the things that I've done and I've said. If there's something, and I'm not perfect, no one is, but if I've said something that I think that have been offensive, or I didn't do things that wasn't godly like, or anything that threw me off balance, I am big enough in the midst of my reevaluation of my day to fix it before I close my day.
Right.
One of the things that we've always said is to never go to sleep angry, because it's a carryover.
Ooh, yes.
So even when you're at your maddest, or you feel as though I got to get the last word, sometimes
yes.
being big enough to say, I'm sorry, maybe I should have listened. Maybe I do understand your side of it. And being able to take a step back and seeing it from that other person's perspective has been the reason that we have been where we are and we've been together for so long, is being
Right.
able to talk to each other and understanding what our commonalities are and what our differences are, but how we can put them together and make it work.
Right.
So
I'm a advocate for the Libras because they always say Libras are hopeless romantics, or the thing about Libras are like, listen, and we're in Libra season. It is justice season. It is karma season. Libras are the only people with flaws that has messed up somebody's life. So don't project it onto just one zodiac sign. I know some toxic Libras, and I've dated them. I do. I understand. I get it. But they don't take the cake from them low vibrational Leos. I'm just saying. But I think too, like, with, you know, when you see somebody that share your same zodiac sign, it's just like family. And I don't mean to keep you long, but it's like family. So it's like at the end of the day, it's just being very authentic within yourself. It's being saying, hey, babe, I didn't like how you said this. I very took this as a trigger. You know what I'm saying? Later, I will heal that. But I just letting you know, I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you and venting you how I feel. Because a lot of men, and some women, but I'm a woman, so I deal with men. So a lot of men are very emotionally, like, either in my past unavailable or just emotionally, like, unintelligent to understand my feelings because of probably of what they've dealt with in their past. And growing up in their childhood traumas, and it, like I said, sometimes it shows in your adulthood life. And to make a long story short, it's just like when I go back to saying, like, having to deal with an abuser and being in a very passive aggressive situation, it's just like, you know, they tell people don't bring your promise to work and don't take your work home. So it's just like meet it at the door, but it goes to the fact that I'm a person, I'm human. We all go through things, and if, you know, we just need someone to just have a shoulder to cry on. So it's just like, if you can't be that type of mate that I can, like, vent to it and cry on your shoulder, then why are we even together?
Right. And you should have someone that you can cry when you need to, as well as them. Because there's nothing wrong with your mate crying or expressing their concerns or maybe what they're lacking to you, but it's being open on both ends. Everybody being receptive for the positive and the negative.
Right.
Okay.
So I agree with that. I really do agree with that, because it's, you know, it's just one of those things when you're very, like, a woman of your caliber as a black woman, and you have a healthcare training school, because we're not going to just limit to CNA. You have a healthcare training school. Like, God is really doing some things with you. And I just want to say congratulations on your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And if I was not against school, I would go back. But I like the podcast. I love the podcast. You
And
know,
you're amazing with it.
thank you so much. And I hope that this episode has really brought some healing to somebody that's watching.
So too.
And like I said, to catch up on great friends, and, you know, you come across great people. And let me just say this. I was at this facility. I don't like to use the names because of HIPAA violations and stuff like that. But I met some rude people. I met some amazing people. This one particular person, this was years ago, before I even got into the hospital. We didn't know each other at all. She worked through an agency and I worked through an agency. And we just worked together. And it was just like, you know, we felt each other's energy, and it was great. And we was vibing, and we got through the night together. But we became friends. And for one thing I do remember about this particular person, we have not seen each other in years, but she blessed me with $500 just off gate. And I'm like, I don't want to accept it. She was like, no, take it. Sometimes you don't know how God is going to show up in your life through people.
Absolutely.
So it's just like when you're gifted with something, accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want nothing in return, which reminds me how you and I met. So I just want to end this on a very light note. And I want to say, too, you're an amazing person. And just by me talking to you today, it really brought back such memories. You lost a mom. That's very touchy. And I know we kind of touched a subject about, you having to be on the family side and you want the best providing patient care for your loved ones. I want to say, I can't even remember if I even reached out to you, but I just want to say, for me to you, I'm very sorry, and I can be very sympathetic because I can really sympathize with you because losing my sister, that was the first person I lost that was so close and dear to my heart, and how I look at life and death. You may lose that person, but there's a rebirth somewhere else. There's a death and rebirth. And you may be gone physically, but spiritually they are there. They are there. They don't go nowhere. And when you develop a great relationship with that loved one, they don't forget you. No matter if they crossed over or not. Like I said, this is a very light way to say we don't have to be sad. We don't have to be in our sorrows. We don't have to be in our anxieties and depressions. And we're not going to even speak on that. Because how life has elevated you in your profession, look at you now. 15 years later, you're still going strong. And your mom, she's watching over you and your business and everything that you have coming to you. You are very much so doing God's work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to my GBs. I hope we didn't make you cry. I hope we didn't make you laugh. I hope that you can be relatable to this. And again, y'all, this lady here, I'm certified in the state of South Carolina. Now I am certified in the state of North Carolina.
Amen.
As a CNA. So look how God has really elevated each of us, and it's been over 9 years?
9 years.
Completion.
Absolutely. You speak that.
Yes, ma'am. All right, my GBs. I cannot wait to have episode 9. Y'all be on the lookout. Stay tuned. And to leave you with a very sprinkle. Your girl's birthday is next month. So cash at me, okay? Cash at because her birthday next month too. It's Libra season. We about to throw this motherfucker seen it. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.